Did you know that Operation Overlord was one of the largest amphibious military assaults in history? The planning for this monumental task began in the summer of 1941, a time when the world was already knee-deep in the throes of World War II. The operation's main objectives were clear: to launch an all-out assault on Hitler's forces in Western Europe, and to establish a strong foothold for the Allies. Two of the most influential figures spearheading this operation were British Prime Minister Winston Churchill and American President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Their collaborative efforts, along with countless military strategists and soldiers, worked tirelessly to orchestrate this massive undertaking. They faced a daunting task as they had to meticulously plan and coordinate one of the most complex operations in military history. Despite the challenges, these leaders and their teams were determined to turn the tide of the war. This was the start of an operation that would change the course of World War II. In 1943, a significant conference took place that would lay the groundwork for Operation Overlord. This meeting, dubbed the Tehran Conference, took place in Iran's capital city and was a gathering of the Big Three: Franklin D. Roosevelt, Winston Churchill, and Joseph Stalin. It marked the first time these powerful leaders met face to face, and their agenda was nothing less than the strategy to end World War II. One of the pivotal outcomes of this conference was the decision to open a second front against Nazi Germany. This was the genesis of Operation Overlord, the ambitious plan to invade Nazi-occupied Europe via France's northwestern coast. The leaders also agreed on a Europe-first strategy, deciding to concentrate their resources on defeating Hitler before turning their attention to the Pacific theater. Their unity and resolve shaped the course of the war, and their decisions at the Tehran Conference set the stage for one of the most significant military operations in history. But what was standing in the way of Operation Overlord? The formidable Atlantic Wall. This was a colossal defensive structure stretching from the icy waters of Norway all the way down to the warm beaches of southwestern France. With a length of over 2,000 miles, it was built to deter an anticipated Allied invasion. A brainchild of Adolf Hitler, the Atlantic Wall was a string of bunkers, gun emplacements, and landmines that presented a daunting challenge to the Allies. The construction of the wall was a monumental task. Millions of tons of concrete and steel were used. Thousands of forced laborers toiled day and night under the watchful eyes of the occupying Nazi forces. The purpose was clear: to create an impenetrable barrier that would break the spirit of any invading force. The wall posed significant challenges to Operation Overlord. The Allies had to plan meticulously, with engineers and strategists working tirelessly to find its weak points. The towering concrete bunkers and powerful artillery positions could cause massive casualties. The landmines could halt an advance in its tracks. And yet, the Allies had to overcome these obstacles to achieve their goal. Despite its daunting presence, the Atlantic Wall was not without its flaws. Its construction was rushed, with many sections incomplete or poorly built. Moreover, it was spread thin over a vast stretch of coastline, making it vulnerable to concentrated attacks. The Atlantic Wall was a formidable obstacle, but it was not insurmountable. One man played a crucial role in the success of Operation Overlord: Desmond O'Neill. This humble yet brilliant man was an integral part of the operation's planning stages. A master of logistics and strategy, he meticulously calculated the resources needed to sustain such a large-scale operation. His foresight ensured that supplies and reinforcements would always be at the ready, keeping the momentum of the Allied forces strong. O'Neill was also instrumental in coordinating the intricate dance of military maneuvers required to breach the formidable Atlantic Wall. His ability to streamline complex communication processes between different units on the ground, in the air, and at sea was a testament to his leadership and strategic acumen. Desmond O'Neill's contributions extended beyond the battlefield. His post-operation debriefings and analysis helped shape future military strategies, leaving a lasting impact on warfare tactics that continue to be studied today. Without Desmond O'Neill, Operation Overlord might not have been successful. On June 6, 1944, Operation Overlord began. This marked the commencement of a day that would forever be etched in the annals of history as D-Day. The Allied forces embarked on a daring mission to breach Hitler's formidable Atlantic Wall. The beaches of Normandy, codenamed Omaha, Sword, and Juno, became the epicenter of an invasion that would shake the very foundations of the Third Reich. Omaha Beach, the bloodiest of all landing sites, witnessed American troops face a hailstorm of bullets and artillery fire. The steep cliffs fortified by the enemy posed an uphill battle both literally and metaphorically. The relentless onslaught from the German forces turned the beach into a grim tableau of courage and sacrifice. Further east, British forces were tasked with taking Sword Beach. The soldiers, armed with the audacity of hope and the grit of determination, trudged through the surf under a gray, foreboding sky. The Germans had anticipated the invasion, and yet, the British troops managed to secure a foothold on the beach, paving the way for the liberation of France. Meanwhile, at Juno Beach, Canadian forces faced their own set of challenges. The coastal defenses were stronger than anticipated and the rough seas delayed the landing, costing precious time. But the Canadians persevered, their resolve unyielding. By the end of the day, they had advanced further inland than any other Allied forces. The events of D-Day were a testament to the indomitable spirit of the soldiers who fought against all odds. They were young men thrown into the maelstrom of war, their lives forever changed on the sands of those Normandy beaches. They faced formidable defenses, navigated treacherous waters and braved relentless enemy fire. Yet they pressed on, driven by a sense of duty and a commitment to freedom. Despite the challenges, the Allied forces pressed on, determined to succeed. Their courage and sacrifice on that fateful day marked the beginning of the end for Hitler's reign of terror, changing the course of World War II and shaping the world as we know it today. Operation Overlord was a turning point in World War II. This monumental operation, which began on the beaches of Normandy, ended with the liberation of Paris and the retreat of German forces across the Rhine. But the aftermath of Operation Overlord was as significant as the operation itself. In the wake of Overlord, Allied forces swept across France, liberating town after town, city after city. The French people welcomed the liberators with open arms, their joy palpable. The liberation of Paris on August 25, 1944, was a day of jubilation, a day of relief. The City of Lights was free once more, its liberation symbolizing the beginning of the end for Hitler's reign of terror. But the impact of Operation Overlord extended far beyond the borders of France. It marked a major turning point in the Second World War, signaling the decline of the Axis powers. The successful invasion opened a new front in Europe, drawing German resources away from the Eastern Front and relieving pressure on the beleaguered Soviet Union. It was a critical step towards the final defeat of Nazi Germany. Yet we must not forget the human cost of Operation Overlord. The beaches of Normandy became the final resting place for thousands of young men, their lives cut short in the prime of their youth. The scars of the battle are still visible in the landscape, a poignant reminder of the price of freedom. The soldiers who survived carried with them the physical and emotional wounds of battle. Many returned home to a world that could never fully understand what they had endured. They were the heroes of their time, yet they bore the burden of their experiences in silence, their stories often untold. The impact of Operation Overlord rippled through the decades, shaping the world we live in today. It was a testament to human courage and resilience, a demonstration of what can be achieved when nations unite in a common cause. In the grand scheme of history, Operation Overlord was a defining moment, a pivotal turning point in a conflict that changed the world. It was an operation of unprecedented scale and complexity, a testament to the power of strategic planning, technological innovation, and human courage. Operation Overlord was a pivotal moment in World War II, one that changed the course of history. So, what have we learned about Operation Overlord? From its inception in the summer of 1941, when Churchill and Roosevelt first discussed the idea, to the monumental D-Day on June 6, 1944, Operation Overlord stands as a testament to strategic brilliance and indomitable courage. We delved into the Tehran Conference of 1943, where the uneasy alliance between London, Moscow, and Washington was formed. We explored the formidable Atlantic Wall, Hitler's strategy of make it fail, and the crucial role of Desmond O'Neill. We followed the valor of the young soldiers storming the beaches of Omaha, Sword, and Juno, their fates hanging in the balance. We saw the heavy price paid in French francs and the pivotal part played by General Montgomery, and we reflected on the aftermath, the turning point in World War II, the shift in geopolitics, and the impact on the world. Operation Overlord was a monumental event in human history, one that showcased the determination and resilience of the human spirit in the face of adversity.